What's up? Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
We're
Welcome
live.
back.
We're go time.
Yep, it is game time here at the cHaSe dEaD podcast. We're back once again. We're your hosts. My name's Nick.
And I'm Phil.
And Phil's got a lot of liquids today.
I have a lot of liquids. I have this. I have water. I have coffee. I have my 40 that I always keep by me. And I still have a ginger ale.
Yep, Phil does have a multitude of liquids.
I live off of liquids, basically.
So you're just a wet cum slut.
Yes. I am a wet cum slut. Yeah, so for everyone who didn't see in the last episode,
yeah, I didn't bring that out of nowhere.
A sticker that says cum slut on it. I like to bring this around in public and drink purposely with the sticker out so people know exactly who I am and what I stand for.
I mean, you know, it's usually kind of a line in the sand kind of thing. You know, I think as soon as someone sees that, they're either like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Or they're like, nah, that's a guy I can get behind. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that's someone I want to have a beer with.
100%.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of having beer, of course I have my 40, and I haven't even opened this yet. By the way,
yes,
this is an uncapping video instead of an unboxing. You guys like that?
Please
you guys
don't,
like that?
Please don't do this. Please don't
ready?
do this.
Is everyone ready?
No. Oh.
That was so nice, dude.
Actually really nice. That was actually really, really nice.
That was so perfect. I couldn't have asked for something better than that.
I got to admit, that was pretty good. All right, guys. So we got a decently full schedule today as far as topics to go over. You probably have seen this episode is titled something to the effect of Save Me Bars, Congress. Save me bars, Congress. You know, like... something like Mr. Krabs. We're gonna be.
By the way, cool and refreshing every time.
You really want that sponsorship, don't you? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're gonna be going over 2 albums as usual. One old, one new. We're gonna switch from last week, so I've got the older one, and Phil has got the newer one.
You're darn right.
So Phil's gonna be covering "Save Me" by Future from 2019.
Oh boy.
And I'm gonna be doing "Behind Bars" by Slick Rick from 1994.
Are we doing this again? Where you beat up the audio equipment?
You know, I think we are. Unfortunately, I apologize.
By the way, before we get anything started, I think we should first start with our introduction offering to cHaSe, because of course this is the cHaSe dEaD podcast. So, in his name, we bring an offering of
guitar,
specifically a harmony. Is that what
it
that
is
says?
A harmony.
A
yes,
harmony guitar.
This is actually gifted.
I was gonna
to
say
me.
Gibson, but it's not that.
No, yeah, this was a gift for me from my lovely girlfriend's father, who's also named Philip, and he's No, I know he's a dope dude. Shout out to Philip.
His name is Philip.
Thank you so much for this guitar, and we're gonna use it as an offering today to try and summon cHaSe's spirit. But do you want to do the cHaSe lore now, or do you want to wait?
No, I think we should wait like we did last time.
Okay, we'll wait.
What did we do? We did one album, and then we did lore, second album, and then we went on to current events.
Yeah, I believe that was.
I think we should do that
was
again.
The way. Well, if that's the case, and also guys, just to warn you, so we're still figuring out the setup a little bit. So I think at the 30-minute mark, unfortunately, we're gonna have to take a small intermission.
Un poquito.
Yes, it will only take just a few minutes for us to get reset. It's just that we have to reset at the 30-minute mark because of the camera. Yeah. So do you want to dive right into Save Me?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to dive right into one of my favorite albums ever in hip hop.
Well, where do you want to begin?
So let's begin with, this is an album by Future. And Save Me came out, I believe, in 2019. I'm going to double check for y'all what that.
It was 2019, in fact.
Yes. Look at that. I remember exactly when it came out because I listened to it the day that it dropped, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to start getting invested in Future because he's one of the best rappers out there. And he's also a fantastic producer.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last week. I had the same thing with Denzel Curry, where it was like your first time you were going to like actually pay attention to a release from the artist. Oh, you just dropped so much water just all over yourself, right?
Guys, I think I'm 6 years old. I can't even keep
It's
water
okay.
in the cup. Good
Well,
Lord.
you know what? It's all right. It's totally fine. It missed all of the equipment, so we're fine.
It did.
It did.
I'm just going to be sipping from things the whole episode, I feel like. So I'm going to have to like
You got a
keep
lot
my
of-
sipping under control, you know?
You got a lot of liquids.
I really got to keep it under control.
You do. Right,
Okay,
so Save Me.
So Save Me by Future. So this album comes out 2019, and this is very, like, relatively very shortly after him and Sierra break up. And it was a very messy breakup because he was cheating all the time. I mean, he's like a rap rock star basically. So, you know, if you've listened to basically any Future song, you know that he.
God. I am so sorry.
If you listen to any Future song,
I am so sorry.
You would know that he basically has a lot of hoes, according to him, basically quoted by him. And so
the man claims a lot of hoes.
He had kids with Sierra. I think they only had like 2 kids. I think they have like a daughter and a son, or maybe 2 sons, something like that.
Okay.
I will look that up for y'all. And they break up. He comes out with this album. This is the most sad boy rap album you will ever hear.
Yeah, well,
coming from a guy who does not do shit like this. Like it is so drenched with sadness and like depression and like heartbreak and not knowing what to do, not knowing what's going to happen.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. That was the main note that I put down, literally right here. Just he's so fucking sad.
Yeah, he's so sad. He's so sad, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But so the track list on this album is phenomenal. So there's Xanax Damage, which is the opening song, and that kind of it almost like is like a preparation of being
Did you
like
say Thugger was on that?
Yes, Young Thug is on that track. I believe,
okay,
because it sounds exactly like him. It doesn't say
you can
in
hear
there,
it, yeah, sonically,
but I'm pretty sure it's him. But so there's going down the line.
Wait, you didn't know though. You don't know that it's Thugger.
I'm gonna check now because last time I did this.
No. I'm not trying to like
Gangsta Pat. Last episode it was bad.
I'm not trying to call you out or put you on the spot. I was just curious because I agree. I also think it sounds like him. I just thought that you meant like that was confirmed by Future.
I'm gonna keep checking, but as I keep checking, I'm gonna keep talking about it. But so
okay,
basically for this album, it starts off. I'll read you the track list real quick. So there's Xanax Damage, the opening song. Saint Lucia, which starts with the phrase "Save Me," so I'm pretty sure this is the album titled track, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like the main one. That's usually how it goes. You have it in the first or second song usually, or you have it like at the end. But then there's "Please Tell Me," "Shotgun," "Government Official," "Extra,"
"Gun." I love that shit.
And then the last one, "Love Thy Enemies," which was one of the main songs that came out as a single by itself. And that was like one of the main promoted songs was off of this. And that is so specifically about Sierra. And like, because he has a line in there that's like, "How must I explain this to my children?" of just like the breakup that they had, everything that went on. And it's a very
hard topic to dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like with your kids. Like, how do you explain like, "Oh yeah, me and your mom, we broke up because," I mean, I like Future as an artist, but he sounds like a douchebag of a boyfriend, to be honest.
No, the guy who did "You Deserve It" is gonna be a douchebag.
Coding Crazy. I mean, he's a douche.
You
No, yeah, it's
deserve
just like. He doesn't sound like he was very faithful, and so like it's like, well, how do I explain this? I don't know, maybe by admitting it that you're the bad guy here.
Though, like Jay-Z goes into infidelity on 444 like multiple times, and I mean, critically, people talked about it, and I'll talk about it right now. It's a good take on infidelity. I mean, obviously, look, like. It's never an easy topic to broach, I imagine, especially in your music.
It's never a good idea, I can tell you that.
Yeah, there you go.
From experience, unfortunately. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. So
don't do it.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I think Jay-Z like came at it with really some insight. Like, I mean, and not only were some of the lines heartbreaking where I think he did some analogies to like the tooth fairy and how like, you know, the childhood wonder kind of like fades away when you learn that your parents aren't really perfect. That's really nice. I didn't get as much of those messages while listening to this album. It just right off the bat. Like, I think I got it upon further examination of it, but immediately it's just so drenched in like grief and agony that
regret.
Yeah, and regret that it's difficult for me just originally listening to it to get like a distinct message from like a plot standpoint as far as albums go. You know what I mean?
You can also like, there's a lot of like admitting to coping. You know what I mean? Like
and
in Shotgun, he talks a lot about, you know, he's talking to a stripper basically being like, "You want to ride shotgun in my whip?" Yep. And it's like, he's just being open and being like, I'm basically like doing all this shit, like the drugs, the strippers, the clubs, all of this shit, like all the money. It's all to cope.
Make it through
right now because obviously he's heartbroken.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's very interesting that like he has a lot of the same language that he uses in other albums. Like so so in 2019, this album when this came out was less than a year after he dropped The Wizard.
Oh yeah.
Which was a very heavy album in terms of like trap and like beats, and it was very like it was just hard. Yeah. It was a hard
it was grimy.
It wasn't like grimy, it was
You wouldn't call it grimy?
When I think of Future, and like it almost reminded me of like his earlier stuff in the way that it was just like edgy, not ragged edges. I guess you could say, in like in terms of like production, like there was like some distortion on it. There was like it wasn't like a clean.
It was a little rough,
like pop edges. Rap kind of album. And like when you think of like what's the Diplo and Trippie Redd song?
Oh,
Wish.
Yeah.
That is a rap song that is very clean and polished. Yeah, very clean and polished. Besides, obviously, his voice, which gives it that like rough edge. And I think that like, that whole Wizard, like that whole album had that rough edge that like Trippie's voice has in terms of like aesthetic and sound tone and shit. So
okay.
So now this comes out.
Okay.
And it's even more distortion, like really large reverb rooms, like sounds and everything, and like
big sonic spaces,
like very like limbo-y, very headspacey. And it's like you can tell he's like in his feelings, like hard.
It reminded me of like, I know this is going to be a very specific reference, but like it in a lot of ways, like, do you remember in Inception, both in the beginning and at the end, they're in that like city with like an ocean right next to it, and everything's like breaking down and shit like that. It reminded me of like being there, and just like gave me flashes of like moments in that, because like a lot of times in the opening to tracks, there's like that ethereal just like collection of sounds and instruments, and it's almost like an overture, like doing their little like, you know, like sort of thing where they all sort of like come together like,
like the symphony at like the beginning when they're like all tuning together,
exactly. And it's like and it just slowly rises into one.
Probably the only reason I go to orchestras or symphony performances is just to hear that and go like, I am ascending.
No, I get that, but it gives me.
It makes me just be like, I am God.
You feel like cHaSe.
I feel like
you feel like cHaSe.
Oh my God, that's where he gets it from. That feeling when you listen to the beginning of a concert or like a band, like a classic band, and you hear all of them tuning. If you feel very, very closely inside of you, you will feel cHaSe.
Yeah, you will. No, it's true. cHaSe, when they talk about chasing the dream,
with my voice.
Yeah, like chasing the artistry, like chasing that feeling. That's cHaSe. That's what they're referring to. It's when you chase something, it's when you just are enveloped by it.
Oh, so he's not only like an entity, he's also a verb.
He's a verb.
Oh my God,
he is a verb, in fact.
I learn more things about this religion of ours every single day.
I know. It's crazy.
But getting back to the album.
Yes.
So there is a huge like visual aspect to this that came out with the album, and a bunch of music videos.
Yeah, like, I noticed. There's like, I think there's
almost every single track except for Extra and Shotgun, which are two of my favorite tracks on the album. Everything else has music videos in some type of way, like whether, I don't know, there's a visual for almost everything in this album, and it's mostly directed by Henry Alexander Levy, which he's French, so I'm sure it's like Henri Alexander Levy of Enfants Riches de Prime. And he's like, dude, he has like this like not as intense as Alexander McQueen, but like very weird, cryptic, dark, like depressing, very like it's not like brutalist, but it's got that like attitude of brutalism where it's just like, fuck you. No, like it's not, I don't know. It's not nihilism, but it's very dark. It's very creepy. Honestly, it's kind of creepy. Some of the like for Love Thy Enemy, the whole music video is just like these very sad like models who are like smoking cigarettes. There's like pictures. There's like imagery of, at one point there's an imagery of like a heroin needle by a spoon, and it's like, y'all are doing heroin? Like, what the hell is going on? Dark. Yeah, very dark, and it's
dark
like,
for the
and it's like he
dark.
like Future's there the whole time, and his face is just like Like he's in his feel. Like he was sad as fuck. And I don't know if he.
He's a really
I don't know if
good
he took his
apathetic.
Xanax, but like
He's got a good
he
apathetic
looked
face,
fucked.
dude. That whole like just staring off. He does that well.
Yeah, but then
Not a lot of people.
that
pull
whole
it off.
thing, it's very like creepy, very like alt fashion, high fashion kind of thing, which is obviously what he's into. If you've seen any of his outfits, some of the things he wears, him and Young Thug have this like alt high fashion thing going on. Like you look at Jeffrey, he's wearing that dress. By the way, killer fucking mixtape. Thank you so much, Young Thug, for giving us Jeffrey. But he's like, wearing very unique clothing, and like they're known for that kind of stuff. So that whole song has a visual aspect to it. But then you go to Government Official.
Yep.
That whole song is about how he pulls up and he's pulling up like he's a government official in the way that like he is.
I did enjoy that.
It's a great track. Yeah. But that visual is very like, it's much more catered towards the rap aesthetic of being like, I have all the money, I have the cars, the hoes, I have the drugs, all of that. And so like that was like almost like he was going back into character. Like this whole, that's what it is. This album is like him slipping out of character and like being a person. And I think that's why I like it, is because you kind of see him like out of character of like,
that's a cool
rappers
take.
are.
I like that.
Yeah. Rappers are always like on, you know what I mean? They're always hard all the time.
Of course. Comes with the territory,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's really cool though. It's like dressed down Future a little bit, like just like Future.
Yeah, he's like
not bare essence as far as sound, but like as far as laying his soul out for you to see. It's kind of more
100%,
bare.
100%.
Well, I like that. I mean, and especially with you talking about how it sounds like he's coping or like talks openly about, having to cope instead of just being okay, and let alone like being tough and like good to go.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's an interesting take.
I like it a lot. What's some other songs on this? So,
I mean, I really like Shotgun.
So this album, as you know, and as the people who live in our house know, but y'all don't know, I have been looking for this vinyl for like 2 years now, because they only released it. They only released 1,000 copies of this album on vinyl. And, I wasn't always, I would never used to be into like vinyl shit. And then I got a record player freshman year of college, and I was like, this is me now.
Yeah,
it was very like white kid moves to New York kind of move of being like, this is me now. I'm alt. I get vinyls. I'm cool. Right. But I started getting it because
old things.
once I started getting into audio and into like sound and like making music and everything. And I learned that like a wax imprint of the like sound signal and the audio signal, and playing that back is actually truer to the acoustic sound than a digital rendition of it is.
That kind of makes sense, actually.
There's like something in our ears that can like sort of discern it, and obviously you get better at it the more you like listen to them. You kind of go in between it. If you're like looking for it, you can definitely tell if you want to. But I started noticing that, and so now like I like listening to like acoustic bands. Like I don't care for listening to electronic music or like house music or anything like that on vinyl, because it's like, well, it's already digital, so like it doesn't really matter. But I really like listening to like acoustic things on vinyl. That being said, I want this album so bad, and if anyone knows where I can get one that's not $700, hit me up.
Word. Well, I hope that someone can find it. Yeah, sincerely, guys, if you have any leads on that, please let us know. Because Phil has been looking for a long time. Like,
I will get it. I've been looking for it for so long, and no record place in New York has it. I mean, it's one of 1,000. So, I mean, like 1,000 people with 8 billion people in the world. I mean, even in America, we have almost 400 million people. So it's like,
like
the odds of finding one is gonna be hard. I have to keep searching for it because I want it. So I would love to hear what his voice and what some of the instrumentals on this album sound like coming off of Wax.
Word. Well, I love that, dude. I hope we can find it one day so we can appreciate it fully. Yeah. And like just to wrap up really quickly, like I really liked it as well. I think that my tops were like Xanax, Damage, St. Lucia, and Shotgun as well. Shotgun. Yeah, exactly. So all around, 7 songs, 20 minutes.
I think everyone should listen to it. I think you guys will like it. If you don't like Future, I know people shown this music to, and they don't like Future at all, and they have changed their minds.
Well, I'm not a huge Future fan, and I liked it.
And yeah, it could, because it's not.
I don't dislike him either.
It's not like normal Future in the sense that it's
not as.
It's not trap mumble.
Yeah, it's not trap.
It's not the trap mumble shit that he usually does. Yeah. I say shit in just a general term. I like Future, almost all of it. I think he's one of the best, like, to have done it in this era of rap and hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, in this generation,
I'm with that,
I think he's one of, like, the guys who sits at the top
pushing
in terms of, like, sounds and, like, pushing it forward and just, like, always being on top of the ball of, like, what's kind of, like, new in sound or
he's also got
like
hardcore, like, feature game. Like, every time that there's a Future
if he's
feature,
on it, it's usually pretty fucking good.
It's usually pretty good.
One of my favorite Future features is off of
Future.
Yes. One of my favorite features by him is an A$AP Rocky album. What's the second one? Long Live A$AP?
Long Live A$AP, and then it's like
At Last A$AP.
Yeah, or something
that
like that.
One. It's At Last A$AP.
Yep.
There's a song off of that is phenomenal.
Okay.
And I love it.
And Future is the feature.
He's on it. And
okay.
It's him and MIA.
When we find the name, we'll put the track right here.
I'm getting it right
just
now.
So you guys can take a look at it.
I'm gonna get it. It's also super easy. It's like Fox something. It's something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. It's called Fine Wine. It's with Joe Fox. That's
that's it.
Fine Wine.
Okay.
Great song. Also, MIA's Future is great. Yeah. We're gonna have to do an MIA album at some point because she's the best.
Definitely.
She could also get it so hard.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You called it.
You're welcome.
Well, also, guys, I hope that you like our new setup. I think we're going to be recording from here most of the time now.
We're
just
so
because,
blue.
Yeah, we're very blue at the moment. You guys might not see that. We might end up
We're
shifting
blue,
it a little bit.
like the mountains on a cold Coors Light.
Jesus Christ.
So please sponsor me so I can stop doing this shamelessly. Please.
Phil, Coors, of all sponsors. Coors, really?
You want to know why, honestly? It's
Why?
because I'm
Why?
not a big drinker. Like, I really... I'm
you're
not someone who...
No, you're not. That's
I
why.
used to drink a lot, like, more than I do now. I was never, like, every single day drinking, waking up, doing that. I couldn't do that. My body is not built for that.
Yeah.
But, so I like having something. And so since I don't drink a lot anymore, also, shouts out to Wild Turkey for making me get alcohol poisoning. Thanks. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
Coors says no, but Wild Turkey's like, oh, we made you black out, dude, immediately.
Dude, you are on the payroll right now.
Here's $50,000. Make as many episodes as you can.
But
please.
Here's the thing. That whole story is, so I got alcohol poisoning I had a date that went bad, and sad boy Phil was like, I'm gonna drink, and I took enough shots to where I blacked out, and when in my blackout state, I drank the rest of the bottle, and it was just bad. Don't do that. Drink responsibly, please.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I beg of you.
Drink responsibly.
It's terrible.
100%.
So after that, I was like, well, I'm no longer drinking liquor and doing shots. I don't do that anymore.
That's fair.
And
I don't drink not for that reason. But
and so I was like, I want something that's refreshing. What's something I've always liked, like beer-wise? Because I knew beer was going to have to be the thing. I'm not a big fan of wine.
Yep. I can't do wine.
It makes me so sleepy, and it makes me want to get naked. And that is an issue with other people.
That is an issue in combination as well. You want to get naked and you're sleepy. That's
I'm
just
so tired, but
good.
I'm so hot.
Oh, God. It's so hot, but I'm also so tired.
Refreshing Coors Light.
So Coors Light. Also,
basically,
guys,
I just wanted something that's light and I can pace myself better, and I like Coors Light because it's not that strong of a taste. So
that's fair.
Please sponsor me.
That is fair.
Please.
I've
been to your brewery twice. Brewery?
I've been to your brewery twice.
Do you have words like that where you like mess them up? Like,
yes.
Like
almost
W's and
consistently.
R's all the time mess me up.
Yep. I just like trying not to fuck it up as best I can.
Like what was one of them the other? Like rewrite. Sometimes I say we white.
Yeah. I get that. We white.
We white.
Oh, we white. Save me bars, Congress.
Save me bars, Congress.
Bars.
Okay. All right, so that's enough of my dumb ranting.
Quickly before I dive into Slick Rick, I want to just show you guys. I actually did end up cutting my hair as well.
Nick, what happened to your hair,
I know,
dude?
it's crazy.
It's so flat too because you had it in a beanie.
I know, it's very weird. I was growing my hair for 3 years, and then I decided to cut it because I thought it was time.
Don't worry, I won't do that to you.
Yeah, I don't regret the decision, but I definitely miss my hair a little bit, if that makes sense. Like I like it short, but I also will be growing it out now immediately, which means that I won't be able to. Like I won't have to touch my hair for a while.
It just looks so good.
It looks good long. So there you go. But I'm gonna dive in here to Behind Bars. Slick Rick, really quick. We're going to take an intermission in just a minute, but I figured I'd at least get started. So, Phil, do you know about Slick Rick? Do you know that much about Slick Rick?
I actually do not.
Dude, because I got to be honest, I am very disappointed that most people, myself included, did not know that much about Slick Rick until I found this album.
I guarantee you, if you ask 99.9% of any of the American children that were born, I shouldn't even say children.
Past 2000.
Past 1995 don't know who Slick Rick is.
I know, and that is incredibly unfortunate. Well, I mean, you know,
you could go up to like any state college kid and be like, you know who Slick Rick is, and they'll be like, dude, who the hell is Slick Rick?
I know,
and
or they'll think it's like Rick Rubin or something like that,
they'll
or
judge
like
you.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Slick Rick, Behind Bars, 11 tracks, 40 minutes, came out in 1994, so a few years before you and I started existing.
Yeah. 3 years.
Dude, this guy has a pretty interesting backstory. He's a UK, like originally based person, I guess is what I was going to say. That's a fucking terrible way of putting it.
He was born based out of the UK.
He was originally based, but yeah, he was born in London.
When did he move to America?
He moved when he was like 10.
Okay, so that's why he doesn't have a British accent.
Yeah, it's a very, very slight British accent. But yeah, I mean, he basically got his start by like hanging out with Doug E. Fresh. Like if you remember Doug E. Fresh and like the Get Fresh crew from like the mid 80s. They did that single like La Di Da or what is it? La Di Dottie, I'm pretty sure is actually the name of it. But
like super, super well known. That's like one of their hits.
Exactly. In the mid 80s. So that kind of got him his start. And then he was actually only the third artist ever to sign with Def Jam. Isn't that fucking ridiculous? He was the third artist in the history of Def Jam.
Who started Def Jam again? I forget.
Oh shit. I know their names. Fuck.
Founded by Rick Rubin. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
Rick Rubin.
Yeah, we were literally
DJ
just talking
Jazzy
about
J.
Rick Rubin.
Russell Simmons. That's the other one.
Yeah. That's who I was trying to think of, is Russell Simmons.
Fuck you, Russell Simmons.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, he was only the third artist to sign with fucking Def Jam, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But he's only released 4 albums to date. The last one came out in like 1999, and since then he's only been doing features. Like he's done some touring shit, and also on top of that, what are you doing? You pulling this dongle up for me?
Yeah, because it just keeps hitting your mic.
Well,
I'm not trying to ruin the audio for the listeners.
Oh, that's totally fine.
There we go. That should be good. I just kept hearing ding, 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 ding.
I get it.
And even if you didn't, I care.
No, I get that. That's important, dude. Only you can prevent
bad
terrible
audio. Bad audio.
Bad audio.
Oogly, 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 oogly.
Anyway, so
all right, guys, what's up? We're
back from our little intermission. Sorry about that. Again, we're gonna get that figured out so we can just go straight through for an hour. It's really just gonna be a matter of
for you.
Yep, just for you watching, just for you, Marty, just for you. Anyway,
shouts out to Marty.
Shouts out to Marty and Stefan. Actually, if you guys can catch.
Big shouts out to the Vibe Cave.
The Vibe Cave, yeah.
They shouted us out on their stream last night. So, hey. Big shouts out to the Vibe Cave. Go watch them on YouTube at the Vibe Cave.
Absolutely.
Also on Instagram at the Vibe Cave. Also on Twitter at the Vibe Cave. Everywhere on social you can find them.
Just look for the Vibe Cave. It's a very good time. They play some great games. There's
super
good
funny.
Commentary.
Sometimes I'm on there.
Sometimes
so you can catch
Phil
me
is on there
saying dumb things, complaining about dumb things,
exactly.
like usual. But
so check out the Vibe Cave.
It's pretty fun.
So Slick Rick. I'm gonna go right into Behind Bars. So as I said before. 11 tracks, 40 minutes, came out in 1994. Funny story about this actually. This actually came out while Slick Rick himself was really behind bars. Whoop. He was actually behind bars, unfortunately.
Snitched on me.
Well, his
snitched on me for sending a message.
I know, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. His cousin had started to work for him as a bodyguard, pretty much. And unfortunately, by like 1990, I guess the relationship was starting to deteriorate or something like that. But his cousin was trying to extort him like for money. And unfortunately, Rick realized like, I think that he like went to his mom's place and he found like bullet holes like in her door, like someone had like shot at the door. Like, I don't even think she was home, but it was like, you know, sending a message of like, if you don't fucking pay me, then like I'm gonna hurt
His
your mom.
own cousin did that?
I know, which is
so.
fucking...
Do you think that was like his aunt or something? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Do you think like that kid did that to his own aunt?
Yeah.
He got hairs on here, Sawi.
Yeah, but no, yeah, like it was. I'm pretty sure his aunt, or at least his aunt by marriage or something like that.
That is horrible.
So
what a
Rick
piece of shit.
saw him one day in the street and fucking shot at him. He just shot at him. I'm
hit
pretty
him?
sure it was in the Bronx. He hit him like in the foot, I'm pretty sure, or like grazed him.
enough
He
to send a
grazed
message,
somebody
so.
else, but he had to plead guilty to attempted murder, and he served 5 years. So by the time that the trial was over from the 1990 incident, it was 1992, and then he was incarcerated from 92 to 97, which was fucking crazy, dude. Like, I mean, look, for an attempted murder charge, and I'm pretty sure it was a broad daylight shooting, not bad, especially since you hit a bystander. Like, that's
Still though, not great.
no. Hey, whoa. That's what I was about to
Yeah,
say.
of
It's
course.
like, hey, man, like any time in prison, I am not trying to say low time in prison is okay. I'm just saying that for him being a high profile man of color who isn't even from the United States, like that's pretty good. He could have been
5 years?
fucked.
He had a good legal team.
Yeah, he could have been fucked.
As
That's
a
all
man
I'm
of
saying.
color in the American like judicial system, to only get 5 years for shooting at someone and potentially hitting someone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy because
It's crazy.
we all know that Joe Biden wanted it to be way more.
Joe Biden.
We were just talking about we'll get to the current events later. Oh boy, will we get to that.
We will get to that. So Behind Bars came out while Slick Rick was behind bars. There are two versions of the
Makes
title
sense.
track on there. There's the, first of all, the original version, as well as the remix at the end. I love them both. They're like, pretty poignant talk about the jail, like an incarceration system.
Razor
the legal
Blade
system.
City.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
Razor Blade City.
there were some great lines in there.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
There's something about bars that are written in jail and
couldn't agree
music
more.
that comes out when someone is post jail, especially someone who like already has talent. There is something about that hits so good.
Oh, yeah.
Gucci when he came out, Slick Rick after he came out, Meek Mills after he came out.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, like they just like crush music, and
Yeah.
I really hope, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, Robert, but Bobby Shmurda, when you come out, please make some crazy music.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's already going to. You heard him on that
Also,
feature.
TK.
Remember he did the
Free
feature?
TK.
Dude, TK is going to be out in a long time, dude.
Yeah.
He got 47 years,
Yeah,
man.
he was on the run.
Yeah. And look,
I feel like, dude, like
the race
why are
was
you
good.
running? They're gonna catch you.
They're definitely.
At
but-
this, like, just watching enough videos and like movies and TV shows and just knowing cops and like seeing everything, just experiencing America, you should know they will find you. They are going to catch you unless you go to like some other country at like the very north tip of Canada or the very southern tip of Chile or Argentina. Like, you're
Even
not.
then, they're gonna
find you. You're gonna get extradited.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be way worse.
Yep.
Because you fled the country. It's just like there's no good. Like if you know that you're caught, just be caught.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, not to mention the fact
Like
that
at this point, just use all
Dude,
your money to
take
not try
a-
and leave. Use your money to get a good legal team and hope to God that you don't get sentenced to life.
also, again, not wishing jail upon anybody, but TK was a dickhead, bro. He was part of a home invasion robbery where they killed the dude that wasn't even the guy that they were trying to rob, number one. And then number two, while he was fleeing, going across the country, doing his whole fucking race, he killed some other dude who was like elderly as well, or at least like robbed him and like beat him half to
Well,
death.
I'm not like justifying
So,
what he
I
did.
guess what I'm
I
trying to
still
say
think
is-
that what he did was bad. But I will say one of the hardest pictures I've ever seen is his picture with the wanted mugshot. Of
Yeah,
him,
that is pretty good.
With the wanted picture.
Well, dude, also just the fact
I mean,
that-
it's not comparable,
Dude,
like
he
in terms of
tweeted-
like size,
he
but like
tweeted before he left.
Yeah.
He literally was like, "Fuck 12, they're gonna have to catch me on God or like on Hood or
On
something,"
God, yeah,
and
something like
ran
that.
and just fucking took off, dude. And look,
Yeah,
look,
crazy.
props to that, man. That is badass shit. Like I don't have the guts to do that shit, but like you said, you're gonna get caught, probably.
yeah.
Which sucks.
Unless you're, I mean, you're just gonna get caught. That's the thing. As soon as you mess with America, like the CIA and the FBI, they're gonna find you.
They're gonna
They
find
are
you.
going to find you.
But anyway.
They have eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
It just like I saw someone real quick before we get back to.
Of
I'm
course.
sorry.
That's fine.
I saw someone like try and compare that picture of cHaSe with like his own wanted picture to the picture of Pablo Escobar taking a picture in front of the White House with his son while the entire CIA and FBI were looking, or the DEA were looking for him. Mm-hmm. The fact, like, it's not comparable.
Yeah,
it's not
the
comparable.
same.
Pablo Escobar beats out every single criminal you can think of.
Always.
That man is the Jeff Bezos of crime.
Yeah.
Especially of like drugs. Like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of bodies and blood on his hands.
Yeah.
And like the amount of money he made, he made so much money that Forbes said, we don't know how much he has.
Dude, he burned hundreds of thousands to keep his daughter warm during a particularly bad winter.
They just burned money because they could. He buried it because he had too much to where he couldn't do anything.
I think he wrote off over $500,000 a year just from damage due to rats and water from storing it.
Yeah.
They had a budget for rubber bands to put the money into.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he had to allocate like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year just for rubber bands because like, he had stacks
on stacks on stacks.
He had more than stacks. He had buildings
He did.
worth of money. Like you could probably build up an entire church on just the money stacks.
Just the
Like a
stacks.
giant Anglican church.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Slick Rick.
Yeah, so like, like I said before, it's 11 tracks. Both versions of Behind Bars are really, really great. There's some great bars in there. I'll read a couple, like Lord played witty, wasn't having any pity. Now with razor blades, did he cry? Suppose the situation, seen mad eyes of foes, drives a rolls. Hey, yo, money, what size are those? Like, again,
Great.
Very much like MF Doom, playing off those syllable rhyming things like, sort of having, compounding bars. That's the word that I was looking for. Like compounding rhyme schemes within bars themselves is kind of impressive.
Oh yeah, he was a like lyrical genius. And his storytelling.
Yeah, his storytelling is unparalleled, and that's actually what I want to talk about in the next song, which is called All Alone. Well, actually, yeah, it is All Alone. All Alone, where he's talking about the single mother named Dawn, and it's kind of like just the classic like story of like a woman sort of gets used by like a guy who doesn't really want to stick with her. She gets pregnant, unfortunately, decides to keep the baby out of some like moral and sort of spiritual obligation. Ends up kind of like crushing it and being able to support herself and her son. Mm-hmm. And then, the son's trying to help out and he ends up getting involved in crime and gets arrested, and then she's sort of stuck. But the refrain is always, him coming back to this line of her, carrying on her life without love, and how like, she was always kind of worried about having a man, but like also just really having a partner by her side, which like, look, I'm not saying that there wasn't deep or introspective rap by that point. I mean, like, NWA had been around for 10 years by that point, and like, Tupac was out on the scene and everything.
Crazy
like
motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to say like, rap wasn't afraid from tackling.
It's just like every time I hear that, like crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
That. But it didn't stop. Like rap wasn't afraid of tackling complex issues. Yeah. It's just that, for Slick Rick to come out and have this like very, I don't want to say like it's a feminist message, but it's just like, it's very, very like understanding of the plight of women when it comes to like men in society. Yeah. Like that's kind of cool to see.
100%.
And then right afterwards in juxtaposition is the song Sitting in My Car, where he's basically just talking about like fucking, I think like 3 or 4 different women at once, which like, look, again, infidelity, say what you will about it. The song is great. Like it's a very tongue-in-cheek comment about
He's very
infidelity.
Witty. He's so witty.
Very witty. And it's very much like about how it's literally a runaround game of like, I'm with this girl and then I'm like with her friend and like I kiss her friend and I think that she's going to tell her, but like she doesn't because she thinks that I'm cute. Like it's just really,
my girl goes to bed and now I'm like, kind of messing around with her friend in the living room. My girl gets up and we act like nothing happened. Yeah, dude, that whole thing is like, and he's, I know I already said this, but he's so good at storytelling, dude. It's one of my favorite things when a song tells a really good story. Yeah. Or even just a decent story. Well, because there's so much, especially in rap nowadays, that's just like there's no story. It's just the same thing over and over. There's like a sort of a theme.
Yeah.
But you're also interjecting these weird like lines about like things that have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like your subjects are all over the place and it's just bragging. I mean like that's fine. I love that kind of music too sometimes. I love listening to just like hard trap.
Of course.
Like money rap is what I call it.
Yeah.
It's money rap.
That's a good label for it.
Because like what you're talking about is like the wealth you've accumulated by, whatever it is. Rapping, music, lying, cheating, whatever, selling drugs, who cares? Yeah. You have money, you're talking about it. That's money rap to me.
Yeah.
But I love stories. I think that's why Kendrick Lamar does so well, is because he tells stories, especially in, his entire story album, like Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
And this isn't like Behind Bars isn't like that in the sense that it's like one cohesive story.
No.
And each thing like has to do with it. But each of his songs tells a story.
Yeah.
It's like a collection of short stories. Like those like books you can get where it's just like an author will write, like these little stories, put it in a whole book, and then like that's what this album is to me, and I love it so much. Like something I could definitely come back to multiple times. Yeah. And just like anytime I want to hear just like someone explain it almost reminds me of like epics.
Yeah.
Like Greek epics in the way that it's just like it's in rhyme and it's telling a story.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that and I like it a lot. Was that me?
I think that was me again. I just keep on.
You keep beating up this audio equipment, dude.
I know. Well,
I'll fight you.
I think my standout on the album was definitely Let's All Get Down with Nice and Smooth.
Great.
It was fantastic.
Great song.
Yeah, I mean, like Greg Nice and Smooth B, I hadn't heard them in a long time. Actually, like I remember they have a DJ, which I just like, I remember his name specifically, DJ Teddy Ted, just because I was like, I love that.
DJ Teddy Ted.
But Nice and Smooth really kind of make the track. I'm not trying to take it away from Slick Rick whatsoever. He's fantastic on that album, on that track as well. It paints a fantastic picture of like going out and being out in the club. Like honestly, for us being in a pandemic, it made me very sad that I can't go out and like do some fun shit with like all of us that night when I heard it originally. But yeah, I mean like the way that both of them come in, especially just like, that like Earth Day line, I'm pretty sure that's Smooth B that has that, where he's just like, no, I'm going to cover the earth like Earth Day. Or I'm going to cover the globe like Earth Day. Like, dude, I heard that and it was just like,
pretty good.
It gave me like fantastic, like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And also like, of course, some like sort of Snoop Dogg-ish like energy to a lot of it. Like, I don't know. I really like that one. And then, yeah, I mean, the only other one that I would talk about is Just Get a Job. Where it's like talking about, those
I want to talk about another one after you do Get a Job, because
that's fine.
One of the songs is crazy.
Yeah, but like fake friends, and the idea that like, when you get famous, there's going to be a lot of people around you who are probably going to take advantage of that. Especially the idea that like the song opens like a little mini skit where like this, you can't tell if it's like the dude's wife or mom or whatever it is. It's like, oh, wake up, like you got to go get a job today. And he's like, oh, I'll go tomorrow. Rick will give me some money. And it's like,
I think it's a girlfriend who's trying to wake up her boyfriend, and the boyfriend is like friends with Rick, and it's just
exactly.
Like, no, man, it's fine. Like
Rick
I'm
will
not,
take
I'm
care
not going
of me.
to get a job today because Rick is going to take care of me, because he takes care of all of his friends,
and of course, like
all those people close to him.
Yeah, you want to bring your friends with you, but like you don't want to bring the people who aren't contributing anything with you,
or are only there after you started making money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, which
sucks, because some people really do fall into that, like taking advantage of an artist, like when they start getting money, and like
don't do that.
It hasn't
shit.
happened to me.
It's not good.
And I don't think it's happened to either of us, because neither of us are that kind of like success right now.
No, but not yet.
I don't know. Like, I feel like, do you think there's some people in your life that will try and do that? Like, do you know people right now who are close to you that you're like, I know for a fact that when I get big, and if they don't get big at the same time, they're going to ask me for favors and for money and to like bring them on big projects, even though I have no like power to do. I definitely know a couple of people.
Yeah, maybe
not going to name names.
No, maybe a couple of people.
It's you.
Unfortunately, it's me.
It's you.
Oh no!
It's you. Yeah, I knew you're gonna take advantage of me.
No, but I get what you
Get a
mean,
Job
though.
is great.
Yeah, it's a good one. Which one did you want to talk about?
I want to talk about I'm Captive because this song is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Slick Rick tells this whole song
Yes.
is told from the perspective of a slave.
Yes.
It is crazy.
It is ridiculous.
And he talks about how the master's wife is like fucking him and like how it's crazy.
It is
I almost want to
really,
look up some of the lyrics.
No, you should.
Because
It's a fantastic. That one, like it reminded me in some ways of his like one of his really huge songs, which was of course Children's Story.
Yeah.
Not again from like the content, but thematically the way that he presents it, that just the way that his flow unpacks the like subtleties of the narrative that he's trying to tell is very impressive. Like it gives me complete clarity as to how an entire generation of lyricists like, Eminem, even I would say like to a degree Nas, even though it was only a couple of years later and stuff like that, like how they tackled storytelling. I think Slick Rick absolutely, look, you don't have someone like Questlove call you the blueprint for nothing. Like if you're the
Questlove
blueprint,
called him the blueprint.
yeah, the blueprint for rap. Like he was the way because
He's
of the
amazing.
way that.
He is amazing.
Yeah, dude, the roots. Come on, what are
Yeah.
you talking? But yeah,
of course.
But yeah, like he said that. He said like Slick Rick was just the overall package that you would want from rap, especially in the '90s. And then like, dude, this was 1994. This was his, I think, third album.
Yeah, it's his third studio album.
Third
coming out of
four.
I think was this his first one out of Def Jam or no?
No, that was.
I'm sure his.
No, I think all of his
All of
albums
his
released
studio
off
albums are out of Def Jam.
Yeah, they all
Makes
are out
sense.
of Def Jam. But dude, like I
will say it has like that feeling, and it's so different looking at music back then. You know, that's like what 17 years old now.
Yeah.
And
even older than that.
1994, 17.
Dude.
No, wait, we're 21 years into.
You're
27.
you're
so
20,
27 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. So
It's fucked.
it's interesting listening to the
Going on
production
30 years.
value and the production quality because like in some of the songs.
Well, it's still got the 80s flair, but a lot of 90s boom bap sensibility.
Oh,
And
I mean, like not even in terms of composition. I mean, in terms of like literal production, like how his voice sounds and is like mixed into
The
it.
quality
You can
and
like
everything, yeah.
you can hear the studio that he's recording it in, and
Very
I
true.
think it's really cool. I think it's almost like antique in that sense, where it's just like you don't have that very compressed. Like very digital,
stemmy,
very packaged, neatly, shiny, polished,
compressed
audio
like,
that's like perfectly
trimmed,
mixed in, which is not bad. It's great to
teeny tiny. It's a
very
teeny
tiny.
tiny.
Okay. But it's not that there's anything wrong with perfectly packaging your audio like that. Obviously, it works for pop. It works for a lot of things.
If you want it to be
But
squeaky clean, you can make it squeaky clean.
Something about the instrumental, because you can hear in the drums, they have a natural reverb. You can hear in his voice has the natural reverb of hopefully that same studio.
Yeah, it's nice
if
and
not,
warm.
it's still a studio. You can hear him in the room, and it's almost sounds like unmastered.
Yeah, it's
like
warm
his voice,
and rich.
and I like it a lot because it feels like I'm listening to it like in the studio.
Yeah.
You
sound like you're listening to like a
It's
mix.
very cool. Okay, so I have some of these lyrics from I'm Captive. Real
Yes,
quick.
please bring them up.
This is one of his verses. One day, he was dogging her back, got me mad too. Dish it like you like this, she said. Rick, I tried to. Aiding to the problem, master's wife, what you want to do? Honey was naked and parading in front of me. She said, that's the slut, Rick, and I'm over her. I said, chill out, sweetheart, because I like life a lot. She says, I have sources who will burn you on the cross. It will cost you. Don't make me have to force you.
Yep.
Brother, what?
Yep. No, it's crazy.
It's just
dude.
like, and like the whole thing, like obviously they start fucking in the story, and then Master finds out, and it's like he gets like whipped, and it's like this whole crazy story, and he tells it in such a calm voice that you're just listening, and you're like, wow, yeah, that's pretty crazy, huh? It's pretty good. He does it like he just like effortlessly just like spits this flow that's smooth,
dude,
nice.
That reminds me of a bar on All Alone, which is also on this. It was the opening to like it's that story again of like Dawn, the single mother, and he comes in saying, while Dawn worked 2 jobs trying to meet ends, her son was busy cutting school and hanging with his friends. So when she got word, she tried to slap out the taste in his mouth and explain how important education is. And the way that he lays down that line of like how important education is and the like subversion kind of like how it comes. Dude, it lands beautifully.
Totally.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I covered my mouth because I read one of these lyrics that I definitely missed when I was listening to it.
What was that?
So in the last verse, he's talking about apparently the master tries to come and fuck him as well. So he's apparently
that's right.
Apparently
I
he's
forgot
gay.
Then yeah, that's right.
So at one point he goes, "But here came master trying to squeeze a redacted. But look, you getting too bold. Well, ain't you the meanest? Bang bang, my liver, son. He shot him in the penis."
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that lyric.
What?
Yep. Yep.
Sorry.
Look, dude, I don't know what to say. The dude is masterful.
So, but basically, it all comes back in the choruses to it. All of his verses and like his chorus stuff ends with the phrase "I'm captive."
Yep.
And that's the whole thing. And he changed it up at some points, like when he's talking about how the master's wife is like basically addicted to having sex with him.
Mm-hmm.
He ends it with "she's captive." And I love stuff like that, where you change it up and you make it part of the story. That's one of my favorite things with lyricism. That's what I try to do when I write lyrics, is like have something. It's a callback, but it's different enough to where it like advances the story. I like it so much.
Yep, I love that as well.
I like it a lot.
Well, I mean that's pretty much all I've got, and I know we've got to move on to some current events. So Slick Rick, 1994, Behind Bars. Check out that. Check out all of his work. And honestly, guys, we got to get this guy a lot more love in the like current day, because he gets shouted out by rappers everywhere, like worldwide. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen like one of the first interviews with like a rapper and they're talking about influences and they don't bring up like, just of course, like everyone brings up the classics, but I've heard his name many times. This is the first time that I've actually listened to some of his stuff. Guys, we got to get Slick Rick way more love right now, because this dude is fucking killing it.
I agree. I was not a believer, and I was not like an avid fan up until I listened to this album, and now I'm like, okay, I got to listen to all of his discography. I got to hear I love hearing like the development and like the growing of like an artist throughout their career. So before we get into current events, can we take another break real quick? Because my 4 liquids are starting to hit all at once.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to take one last intermission, and then we're going to come back with about 10 minutes or so left. So we will see you guys in just a second. Stay tight right there.
Yo, what's up?
All right,
we are
guys.
back one more time. I have peed. Everything is good.
See, this is what happens when Phil has too many liquids right before the podcast. You're not supposed to have more than 4 liquids, Phil.
I've actually never eaten a solid in my life. Fun fact.
I've never
not
even
eaten
one
solid
time.
Food ever.
You know, I just realized we never did the rest of the chase lore for the day.
Let's do it now.
Yeah. Well, okay. This is a bit more of a tame piece of chase lore, but actually, there was a time when we were living with Chase, when Chase decided to come home, and he just told us out of the blue that he had invited an entire host of homeless men and women to join us for the evening.
At least 4, I think it was.
4 to 40. Somewhere in there.
4 to 40.
Yeah, roughly 4
to 40 to 40,000, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
Either way, it was too many.
Yeah, and the whole thing was, Chase, we want to help them. We want to be charitable as much as we can, but we live in a shack. We barely have enough room for the 3 of us to get around without having to collide into each other. Exactly. So how are we going to fit between 4 and 40 people, homeless or not, inside of that space? And Chase decided to say, I'll just make it bigger. And you know what he did? He made the universe.
That's actually how the current universe that we have right now, and you know how it's ever expanding? It's because he's constantly bringing more and more of his homeless friends.
Just out of spite.
To hang in our place.
Yes.
Still, we don't even live there, and he brings them there.
Yes.
Because it is technically the center of wherever he is the center of the universe. He just happens to live on what he had created and turned into Earth, right?
Phil and I did not ask to be born, and our existence is constant pain.
I hurt
constantly.
Every second. It feels like there are knives jumping down and doing the Macarena inside of me. With little knives, hands, and feet.
Such is the way of Chase. And on him, we will find peace and music.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, let's move on to our current events, Phil. What are you
at some
thinking?
point, we should have a communion.
We need to have a Chase communion.
But what would it be? What's his communion? What's his bread? Sourdough. He loved to make sourdough.
It's sourdough and kava.
It's sourdough.
You have to take a bowl of kava.
I don't know if any of y'all have ever
kava.
drank kava before, but it is dirt water.
Don't do that.
It's gross.
Listen, it's
it literally
not
sucks.
horrible for you, but it's not as good as it says it is, and it's not enjoyable. It's like the worst opiate, and it's not an opiate, but it's like the worst effects of an opiate, and like kind of like being drunk.
And if you have too much of it, you vomit.
You
just
vomit
like
a
alcohol.
lot.
So it's not even a good replacement.
No, but it's not even like alcohol because there are people who really can hold their liquor. This shit is like Epicac. If you take it,
make you vomit.
will throw up
if you have
after enough.
slightly too much kratom with it, you will vomit.
You will throw up.
We had a whole phase.
We had a kratom
while
phase.
We were in New York. Our whole friend group had a phase where we
Went to
used to
Kava
work
bar.
at a place called Kava.
Yes. Yep. Kava Sutra.
Kava Sutra. That's right. Oh
And
man, I've
then,
been there so
unfortunately, they got busted. I guess for like a bunch of like what? It wasn't anti-Semitic shit. It was anti-trans shit.
It was
I'm pretty sure.
transphobic
Yeah.
and homophobic and
Yeah. See, don't do that.
kind of racist,
you know?
but mostly transphobic because I don't know why, but the owner,
Was
who
just
by the
really
way, is a felon, and he had to start the business
There you
by
go.
putting it in someone else's name, and that person is his business partner, but doesn't actually do anything within the business.
Interesting.
So it's a holding company, which
Yep.
is technically illegal.
Yeah, it sounds like fraud.
It's all fraud.
It's
And
interesting though. I mean,
who they would hire was like, besides Chase, of course, but some of the people that they hired were like bottom of the barrel type of people.
Look, some of them were really nice.
They were some of them were very nice.
They were all
some
very
of them,
nice.
like there was a guy who I'm not going to name because I actually forget his name. He took mescaline. A lot lot of it.
That's
and if you don't
never
know
a good
if you don't know what
start
mescaline
to a
is,
story.
if you don't know what mescaline is, it's
Someone
almost
is gonna
DMT.
serve you
It's almost
something.
DMT. It's like this close.
Dude, if you're gonna get served by someone anything, it doesn't matter if it's kava, alcohol, food, whatever. You never want to hear the story start with, yeah, so he took mescaline and then went to work.
No, he didn't even go to work. This guy had gone into the hospital, had been what is it called? Something acted, Kenzie acted? No, what is it called?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
Baker
about.
acted.
Baker Act, yeah.
He got Baker acted and then went into the hospital for treatment and for inpatient stuff. He basically admitted himself. Was there for 27 hours ish. Busted out. Took way too much.
Hold on, and busted out.
Yeah, like left without signing, without like
Cool. Okay.
without getting
All right.
permission to leave.
Okay.
Got a bunch of mescaline. Took it. Took kratom.
Just
like
found it.
broke into Kava Sutra. Took $700 and then left, while all on camera.
Yeah.
While all on like 6 cameras, because in New York there's cameras everywhere. I don't know what people think that they can come here and like do crime. There are eyes on you always. If it's not a digital eye, it's a human eye, and someone will.
It's New York.
I wouldn't say someone will say something because a lot of people don't say stuff here. And
Yeah.
that's kind of an issue.
But a lot of
when
people
we
will.
see things on the street, we don't say anything. But a lot of people will still say something, especially if you're breaking into a business, like very clearly breaking in, like busting the glass open.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's the Lower East Side, and that's what happens.
Long story short, kava is kind of like dirt water. It's sort of fun, but not really worth it that much. And, if you don't want
Expensive
your business to
as hell.
get trashed on a podcast, then don't be transphobic. And then maybe that wouldn't happen.
Don't be a douchebag.
Yeah. All right, Phil, we got like 5 minutes, 6 minutes left.
We might make it go over. We should go into current events.
We can, yeah. We're gonna go in. We'll see what we're doing. It might run over a little bit.
Apologies if this is a little bit longer than an hour. I know you guys are very, very strict on this, and you hold us to a very hard T. Because actually, now that I'm looking at my time, we have less than 2 minutes left.
Well,
we have 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Well, you know what?
So it's actually gonna go over, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not a thing. You could click off,
but you won't. But you won't.
You won't.
You won't do it. You'll stay.
You won't do it because you need us.
Anyways, current events.
Yep.
Current
so
events.
The Senate.
The big thing that's happening right now is the impeachment trial.
Yeah, dude, it was very weird to have just like Trump go into a vacuum where like it was just Trump.
Yeah, not
Like,
hearing
nothing?
from him or seeing new tweets or seeing news stories that are like, Trump said this, can't believe he said. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well, you heard
very
his
weird.
ban. His ban is permanent.
That was
now.
the first thing I was going to bring up. He has been officially silenced on the platform that got him the actual presidency. I believe that Twitter got him the presidency because. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Look at that.
You can
That
take
was,
a picture
that was
of Phil every now
BTS
and then.
footage being shot on BTS ITS. No, OTS. Behind the scenes. No,
In the scene, on the scene,
BTS
behind the scene.
ITS. Behind the scenes, in the scene.
In the scene, behind the scene.
What are you guys doing? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Anyway, so he got banned from Twitter for the rest of his life, for the rest of his existence.
It's so weird. Like, I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, like, look.
I mean,
it's
modern day.
pro-Trump
It's modern
at
day
all.
exile. I mean, like if Napoleon had run through what happened in history now, I think it would be something similar to that. They sent him to Florida and they banned him on Twitter. I mean,
Now we
that's
just need
basically
to
being exiled.
cut it
Going to
off.
Florida, the limbo
Float
of
away.
America, Florida.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
weird, like what's not limbo? It starts with a P.
Penis.
No,
The penis.
no. In between life and death is
Purgatory.
Purgatory. It's like a
It's
weird,
purgatory.
dark purgatory. Penis.
The purgatory with Disneyland and at Disney World.
How is that even between life and death?
I don't know. That's Disney for
You think penis is the difference
Disney.
between life and death?
No.
That seems
I don't.
pretty telling.
I really don't
That
at
seems
all.
pretty telling, to be honest.
Dude.
But what were we saying?
We were talking about the trial.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to not hear from him. And then, do you think he's gonna go to the trial as actually on trial as a defendant and like go and
No.
sit?
No.
You
I
don't think he'll
so.
come in?
I definitely don't think
I don't
so.
think he should.
Dude,
I don't. From a legal team perspective, I don't think he should
No.
because he will ruin his own
He will
chances
ruin his own defense.
of getting acquitted.
And dude, he doesn't actually take it seriously. It's just
He
like
doesn't
with
think
the-
it's real. He literally is like, I'll talk regardless. Like he's gonna get a news network after this anyways.
Well, also not to mention the fact that after the first day of arguments was just talking about whether or not they were going to be able to, well, not have the trial, but they were like,
Is
what
this
kind of
constitutional?
power, does the Senate have constitutionally for a non-sitting president, for a former president? And thank God they voted that they can still do it and convict him and so on and so forth.
based off of historical evidence of us doing it to Secretary of War, I believe it was.
I think it was something like
that. Like after they were gone.
Yeah.
There's been multiple like federal executive branch like people who have been tried for certain crimes or certain grievances.
The senators,
after they leave.
The senators
Jeez,
who
that was
have
loud.
already after they leave.
they leave.
The senators who have testified, and I saw a few today. I mean, look, they're harrowing stories. It sounds like, they all went through a pretty traumatic day of, obviously having the Capitol looted. Like, look, I don't understand how it is such a question about what he did. I mean, look, if they had just shown up, right? Like if they have just shown up to the Capitol and Trump didn't go to the rally, he didn't have the tweets or anything, and even if they still did their whole thing of like the president sent us here and like we're here because of Trump and whatever, I'd have more of a case, or I could see more of a case for them saying like he didn't directly incite it, but he directly incited
within an hour
it, like,
beforehand of doing it at the rally that fucking
these weren't his followers, like his people striking out. These were them following orders.
the Publix heiress, you heard about that too? That came out.
Yeah, I did.
$300,000 to.
was-
She basically put on that rally.
Yeah.
she practically put on that
100%
rally.
put on that rally.
But when you talked about the riot again, I want to say something. I have shit publicly.
Oh, you shit publicly.
We'll stop there.
Okay, yeah.
No,
We're going to end the podcast there this week, guys. Thank you so much for coming out to cHaSe's Dead. We really appreciate it. Phil shits publicly all the time. We're going to see you next week.
Damn it.
God damn it. All right,
Why
what
do
were
I
you going to say?
speak like this?
So you shit publicly on who? Who were you going to shit
On
publicly
AOC
on?
a lot because
Okay.
I think I think certain things, it doesn't really matter right now. But I will say is that I didn't feel as bad for anyone else or any congressional member that day except for AOC, because she full well knew that they were there to kill her.
Yeah.
Like they were going to probably lynch her on the fucking steps of the Capitol.
Dude, she didn't know
It was
who-
fucking insane. They had no idea where. I mean, who was it? Who was that one lady that like tweeted out
She had
Nancy
a panic
Pelosi's
button. Oh yeah,
Nancy Pelosi's fucking location, like live tweeting her location in the Capitol, like,
Yep.
and the fact that they're not kicking,
they were literally running through the halls.
Marjorie Lee, whatever her name is, out off of the fucking committee, but they're not gonna get that lady off of committee. She like actively was trying to help the mob get to Nancy Pelosi because she's a QAnon person and believes that Nancy Pelosi is fucking kids.
That's the craziest part is, I mean, like, you know, they couldn't even trust their own colleagues, their own security. I mean, yeah, like listening to, again, like, I think that AOC has botched a couple of things in her political career, just like any other politician.
Of course, that's why politicians are useless.
But at the same time, yes, dude. Listening to her talk about that was not just harrowing; it was deeply upsetting.
It's scary.
I cannot imagine how horrifying it must have been for her to be hiding in her office. I don't even think it was her office, probably, because that's the first place they would have fucking gone. Just scared, and then like when a cop comes, you don't even know if that's like a real cop, or even if it is a real cop, if he likes you enough or not to not fucking shoot you. Like, dude, that's crazy.
Like robbers coming into a bank and then going to kill a specific teller instead of robbing the actual bank. Yeah, because she said, I don't like when people rob banks. I don't like people who think that this bank is only for them.
Yeah,
I don't like people like, it's like,
this bank is for
everybody. You want
to
talk about like freedom of opinion? Jesus Christ, let the woman speak. I don't understand. It's so weird. Like you have all these QAnon people, and you're like yelling, "Lock her up" about Clinton, and that like she should be dead, and all these like crazy things. And it's like, but AOC can't come back and say, like, claim that y'all or something. Like you're claiming that people are like global pedophiles.
Dude, they're not.
When they're just like corrupt, greedy politicians. Like they're not global pedophiles. They just are greedy and just think for themselves, but like
there's no rationalizing it with them, dude. Though, like those people, the QAnon people,
so weird. It's like
are
baffling.
so far gone. Yeah. Again, it's like arguing with like Christian fundamentalists or any like religious fundamentalists on anything, where it's like, dude, you believe that shit. It's so baked into your head that there's nothing that I can say, whether it's logical, mean, doesn't matter if it's somewhere in the middle. There is nothing that I'm going to say to you that will change your opinion. That's why, like, with the QAnon shit, with any hardcore conspiracy theories, there's no point. Why even try? You know?
Yeah,
like
that's true.
The only people that you can really reason with, I think, are the flat earthers. And that's only because you can actually disprove that shit readily for them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, well, flat earth is like based on science, and then like this whole right left bullshit is based off of like right and wrong, which is going to be completely skewed for every single person.
Look, the moral of the story
but
is...
But that, not to say that the extreme far right is not... I'm not comparing the far left, like Antifa versus the Proud Boys, because obviously there's a fucking difference. Obviously there's a difference. Like, I hate hearing
the sides are both extreme, but the way that they go about their extremism is very different.
Very different. It's also like, I hear all these older comedians, these fucking old ass dudes, talk about like, oh, well, actually, if you think about like Joe Rogan is like, well, Antifa is kind of like the Proud Boys in the sense. It's like,
no, they're really
in
not,
only the
though.
sense that they're a group coming together with a like violent tendency.
Also, Antifa,
but like even Antifa isn't even that violent until usually someone strikes first.
Though. Antifa is a movement, as in it's
not an organization. I agree.
Yeah, it's not like the Proud Boys where they have like, don't they have a fucking flag and shit?
Oh
and
yeah,
like they have
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, dude, that shit is ridiculous. That is a group. No, like look.
Or wait,
I
no, I think it's
Rogan,
Gavin McGinnis. I think Gavin Newsom is the...
Homie, what are you talking about? Like there is no comparison to be made. And I don't even like either. I'm just saying, what the fuck,
It's
dude?
not even fucking close.
It's like those fucked up people who always say the whole like, well, all lives matter at the Black Lives Matter thing. Where I'm like, dude...
It's like, well, yeah, but like, there's not a disproportional amount of like violence against like anyone else really, but like it's not the same for black people.
Again, like I think maybe it was like Joyner Lucas who said this on like a rap song. It's like, dude, you're protesting my protest of people getting murdered wrongfully by the police. Like, no one is coming out saying that white lives don't matter, dude. They're coming out and saying that black lives matter too. You know, like that's I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree. And
there's just no comparison.
Here's the thing. At this point, those people who are so adamant about like all lives matter, that shit has nothing to do with everyone actually mattering. It's them saying no, those killings were justified in my eyes.
Exactly.
And I think all lives matter, just like that police officer who killed that black kid. And it's like, no. Like, that,
No.
it's not even fucking close to being justified. I can't stand the all lives matter things. Like, dude, obviously, if black lives matter, then all lives matter.
Yeah.
That is how it works. If one thing, then the other. It's
They never.
because
no one
here's the
ever
thing.
said only
And
black
here's the thing.
lives
Here's the
matter.
thing. If all lives matter, then black lives matter. What are you getting mad about? If it's one thing, then it is the other thing. I don't fucking understand. Fucking crazy to me.
Never understood that.
Yeah.
People are crazy, dude. I think that one thing too that we wanted to touch on with this is the idea that like the political side thing is a lie. Yeah. And there's no politicians at the moment that are working for you. None. Zero.
There's not a single one that
and that includes
not a single one. They are there
the
for
most
themselves.
zealous ones on either side. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican and you're listening to us. Whoever your savior hero is, whether it's fucking AOC, Ted Cruz, or anywhere in the middle, I don't give a shit. They are not there for you, dude. Because, and the best example that I always keep coming back to is this. They've been arguing about us getting a collective $2,000 over the course of those 2 checks for a good year or so now. Well, they're making $174,000 a year to sit there
And their payments never stop.
decide.
Their income never stopped because it's tax dollars.
Look,
they're paid through the taxes.
I'm not the type to be sitting here being like, there's no hope and like the system is just evil. Like, of course it is a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is something drastically needs to change because at the moment there are no politicians actually working for the people. Nobody, like pretty much nobody. That's not to say that can't change, but that needs to change. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
When I hear someone say, I want to be a politician or has like dreams of that, I now equate it to the same energy and like subconscious intent as someone saying, I want to like be like a singer when I grow up. You just want to be famous.
Yeah.
That's all you want. You just want to be well known in the public and you want people to like you. Just fucking say that.
Yeah, and it's the same people who go into like stockbroking
like you don't,
as well, unfortunately, where it's like, dude,
I don't know.
You're going to use it for money or some sort of financial gain. Well, dude, like, look.
If you're in the
financial sector,
because there are some people in the financial sector who are actually like helping people.
No, that's not what I said though. Like,
it's like if you're a stockbroker, like specifically working on Wall Street,
specifically people like hedge fund managers.
Yeah.
That's the people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not talking about every single person who works in finance. I'm just saying that like a lot of those dudes who run hedge funds and do that sort of thing, like they are very upfront at least about telling you like, yeah, I got in this business to make money. Yeah. Like I did it to get rich. Whereas
any part of the stock market is to get money.
Exactly.
That's
so like
the
I
whole
just
point.
feel like, I think that a lot of politicians get in for that same thing, whether it's direct cash flow or just having that, affluent lifestyle that comes with being a politician. That's a draw, dude. I mean, look, especially if you want to have the fucking trophy wife or trophy husband and the golden family, living that politician life, and you're a state senator, especially, like, of course, man, that's a nice cushy life for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's people across the board. I'm not just talking about fucking white people, but yeah.
Anyone, yes, that is a nice life to just basically like be like in charge, like
exactly.
all this other shit.
Yeah.
I think we just had a light go out.
Yeah, I just think that that light is losing some battery. Nice. So I guess we better wrap it up then.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, guys,
basically to take away from all of this, don't trust your politicians.
Yes, and vote in ones that seem like they might actually be able to make a difference. But
do not
you never know.
Trust career politicians mostly. Because if that's all they do, I don't trust you. Yeah. If you are just like, I don't trust you if you're just constantly trying to get back into an elected office.
Yep.
Like give someone else a chance.
Yep. And we need to get term limits.
You need different perspectives on purpose. Like it's democracy on purpose. You need every perspective. And having like people like Mitch McConnell who have been in the Senate and in government for I don't know, 2,000 years since Jesus was around.
Approximately.
Like
I'm pretty sure he is.
Your
Pontius
perspective
Pilate.
is not needed anymore. You no longer think like a private citizen or like an individual. None of them, unless you're like a freshman or sophomore in the House of Representatives in a state, then maybe you have like,
there's some
you have like a
idealism.
private citizens or individuals like perspective. But other than that, like you don't, you're in government.
Yeah.
You think as like someone who has to make decisions for everyone. I mean, like you have to think of yourself as above everyone else.
Exactly.
To say like I represent the ideas of these people.
Yep. Well, guys,
and it's a weird narcissism. I think
if you're planning on going into politics, get in for the right reasons, please, because all of us
be a lawyer and help people in the justice system, because they need more help than we do with legislation. Because we already need a new fucking constitution, in my opinion.
I think that we all need some help, because there's a lot of shit going down that I think a lot of people are not digging at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of non-groovy shit in the United States.
Super not neato.
Yes, unfortunately.
Un-neato.
Well, guys, we're going to be back next Monday with the next episode of the podcast. We'll be tackling 2 more new albums and going into our current events. Phil's going to take a new one next time. No, I'm sorry. Phil's going to take an old one. I'm going to take a new one this time. And we will go from there.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Let's see if we're going to stay in the 90s this time.
Yeah, let's see. We might even go a little bit earlier.
I might have to go to the 80s.
Might have to go to the 80s. And I might have to go into the early 2000 teens. Just a little bit. Just
what are we calling old? Like, what do we consider old on this? Of like classic? Like 2000 before? Or are we talking like 2005 before?
I think anything before 2000 is old. And anything post 2000 is new.
You think post 2000? I would say like new for me is like
2010,
2015 on. Like I think it's a whole new generation. Look at the XXL freshman
We're gonna figure
list.
that out.
Like look at there's a clear difference in like the generations. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even between like 2015 and 2016. I think 15 was Chance the Rapper's freestyle with Isaiah Rashad. That was 20. Yeah. So who was 2015? I don't even remember.
I don't even remember. Yeah.
I know 2016 was like Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, 21 Savage.
I remember 2013
Kodak Black,
was like,
and Denzel Curry. And Denzel Curry did not fit in. He wrecked them.
He destroyed
them. In that like lyrically, destroyed them.
Yeah, it was badass.
Vibe wise, 21 Savage, I think.
Exactly.
Or Lil Uzi, I don't know. Yeah. Definitely not Lil Yachty. Your freestyle was trash.
It was.
Just so you know.
Unfortunately. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. You guys take it easy. And thank you once again for tuning into the cHaSe is Dead podcast. We will see you guys next week. Oh, pew, 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 pew. Wait, should we go back for the ending thing? Do you want to?
Fuck, it's a little too late.
Nah, it's all right.